Hi, I'm Amy. I'm a wife and mom of two young girls, and I like to make easy and healthy meals for my family. If you're new here, please subscribe. I do post videos every single week. I'm really excited about these three meals that I'm going to be cooking up today. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the best chili. I looked up some different recipes online and I wasn't really excited about any of them, so I switched things up and made my own. So I'm starting with one red pepper and I'm just dicing it up. And then once I have that diced and removed from the cutting board, I'm going ahead and dicing up an onion as well. A couple things I love about chili is that it provides a lot of food, so usually leftovers, and it's also really quick and easy to actually make. It does take time to cook, but to a pan, I'm going ahead and adding in the onion, and then the pepper that I diced up. Once the onion and pepper are cooked, so the onion is soft and translucent, I'm going to go ahead and add the ground beef and cook it until it's no longer pink. It takes probably about 5 minutes. And now I'm going to add the seasonings. So I did make this garlic and freeze it. I'll link that video below. But I'm going to go ahead and just stir this up. I don't want the garlic to burn. Then I'm going to add some chili powder, cumin, sugar, oregano, salt. I add some extra garlic as well. Next, I'm adding the tomato paste. This is what I think makes this recipe so special. So I'm adding a few tablespoons of that and I'm going to let it caramelize. So I'm going to mix it all together. It's going to get a deep kind of a rich color and it's going to really smell really delicious. And then once that happens, that's about 5 minutes. It'll take about 5 minutes. I'm going to add diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, some beef broth. You can also use chicken broth or, even just water if that's what you have. And then some black beans. We chose to add black beans because we really love them in this house, but you can add any kind of beans you'd like. And that's it. Give it a really good stir. I'm going to cover it and cook it on low for about an hour. And you can add whatever toppings you'd like. We just did some shredded cheese and oyster crackers, but we really, really loved this. So I'll leave the recipe below if you're interested, and we'll definitely make this again. My 2-year-old really likes to be in the kitchen with me, specifically to bake. I think she likes playing with the baking ingredients like the flour and the brown sugar and all that stuff. So she's going to be helping me and adding the ingredients in the bowl for me. We are starting with the dry ingredients. So we're adding whole wheat flour, then brown sugar, baking soda, baking powder, salt, cinnamon, allspice, and then we're going to stir that all up, put that aside, and start on the wet ingredients. The wet ingredients are buttermilk. I used low-fat buttermilk, unsweetened applesauce. I did have to add more because she loves applesauce and she kept sneaking some out of the bowl. And then coconut oil. You can also do like canola oil, vegetable oil, an egg, but I actually used an egg replacement. I used flaxseed meal instead. You can see it right here. I just put 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal and 3 tablespoons of water, which substitutes 1 egg, and I set it aside for about 5 minutes while I added all the rest of the ingredients, and this allows it to thicken. I also added vanilla extract. She even tried the vanilla extract. I don't think she liked it too much, but I used an apple and I grated it and I also chopped it. So you're supposed to chop it and grate it. I also grated some zucchini, and that's everything. So I stirred this all up, all of the wet ingredients, and then I added the wet to the dry and stirred all of that up, and then it was ready to go. At this point, I added in that flaxseed meal. I did forget to add it earlier, but it doesn't matter when you add it. But my husband actually added all of the batter to the muffin trays because I was busy doing something else. So thanks to him for doing this. But you're just gonna use whatever kind of muffin tray you have. I just have silicone muffin tray liners here. And I went ahead and put them in a 375-degree oven and cooked them for about 20 minutes. You just want to make sure a toothpick will come out clean. And here they are out of the oven. They're not the prettiest muffin, but they do taste really good and they're really satisfying. I'm gonna roast up some chicken sausage and veggies. I'm gonna use this chicken sausage, just one pack. I'll probably cut it in quarters or maybe thirds just to kind of keep it cooking at the same time as all the rest. I'm gonna do 2 onions, some tomatoes. Hopefully those will kind of get nice and sweet and start to kind of burst open. I have 1.5 zucchini. I used the other half for those muffins. Butternut squash that's frozen. I'm just going to throw it on there, and then I'm going to do some butter and olive oil and then all of these seasonings, which is garlic, Italian, oregano, basil, and some salt. And I'll probably add just a tiny bit of pepper as well. The first thing I'm doing is chopping up the veggies and chicken sausage. So I'm starting with the zucchini. I just sliced it in half and then cut it in moon shapes. I'm just trying to keep all the shapes kind of the sizes as even as possible so they're all going to cook at the same time and be done at the same time. Then I'm moving on to the onion. I'm cutting it in half and then in thirds. I'm keeping these bigger just because I think they'll cook a lot quicker. And then I'm going to chop up the chicken sausage. Each link I'll do in thirds. Now I'm going to prep them to roast the veggies. So I'm throwing the zucchini, the onion, the tomatoes, and the chicken sausage on one sheet pan. And I'm going to go ahead and break up the onions so that they're just in smaller kind of clumps. So there's maybe 2 or 3 together. And then I'm going to go ahead and season it up. So I'm starting with the olive oil and butter. I did about a tablespoon of each. So I melted the butter in the microwave and just put the olive oil right in there. And I'm just going to kind of put it on top and then do the seasonings. So I'm going to do salt, pepper, garlic powder, and oregano. And that's it. These are now ready to go in a 425-degree oven for as long as you'd like. So it took about 40 minutes for mine. Just I wanted them to be kind of golden brown. So I set this aside and I started with the butternut squash. I just bought frozen butternut squash just because it's just a lot easier, but you can chop up your own if you'd like. So I'm just going to throw that on a different sheet pan just because I think they're going to take a little bit longer. And I seasoned these with salt, garlic powder, thyme, and oregano. You'll notice I have some off to the side. That's for our 8-month-old because I'm not giving her as much like seasoning, so she just has oregano, in case you're wondering why there's some separate over there. So I'm also going to bake these in the oven for the same temperature, 425. These took about like 45-50 minutes. And you'll know they're ready once they're fork tender, once they're kind of golden or brown. They have a really nice like smell. Anyway, these look really good and they did taste really good as well. Once they had cooled off a little bit, I wanted to chop up the chicken sausage and the onion a bit smaller just to kind of get them ready for the week. So I did. I sliced the chicken sausage. I just kind of roughly chopped up the onion. This way I can just throw it in whenever. I did use these in a few different recipes throughout the week, and I will kind of include a really brief clip of that a bit later so you'll see exactly what I did. Here are all of the ingredients prepped. So I have the chicken sausage, I cut up the onion and the rest of the veggies, the zucchini, the tomatoes, and the butternut squash. And then this is the butternut squash I roasted up for our 8-month-old. So she's 8 months, so she's starting to kind of eat with her fingers. So that's that. So I will show you what I'm doing with this in a little bit. For this meal, I did go ahead and cook up some ditalini pasta, and that way it's all ready for the week. One night for dinner, I had a salad with the veggies and chicken sausage and the pasta, and I threw on some garlic vinaigrette dressing. And then another night, I actually had kind of like a macaroni and cheese where I just put a Velveeta slice in with it and all the veggies and chicken sausage and the pasta. They both were really tasty. And then another day, I actually made scrambled eggs with some cheese and put in a cup of those veggies and just had an English muffin. So these are just a few ideas of what you can do with this meal prep. It's really easy and really tasty to have a variety of different meals throughout the week. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you are on WW, I do include the recipe and the link to the WW recipe builder so you can check out the points for your specific personalized plan. And I'll see you next time. I thought I'd just add all the ways my toddler was helping by tasting and just playing in the flour. She had a really good time though.